in?
Yep.
Can you slide the gate that way? Hey guys, Constance here from Cosmopolitan Cornbread. So as you saw, the babies have officially moved out and are now in the brooder coop, and we are done having baby chicks in the bathroom. Yes, it's a wonderful thing. So I'm standing outside the new big beautiful chicken coop, and I mentioned in my last video that there was one thing that was going to end up getting changed, and that was the row of nesting boxes along this wall right here, because it actually made it very narrow and I knew it was going to be an issue for me. Well, this morning as the chickens were getting off the roost for the very first time in this coop, I knew that those nesting boxes weren't just an issue for me, it was an issue for them. It made it much too narrow of a space for them to fly down. So it didn't last a day. I have already made some modifications. So the very first thing that I did before I even went in to have my second cup of coffee this morning was I made a ladder going up to make it easier for the chickens to get up here on the roost. And then I immediately pulled the metal nesting box system out and created a little platform down here with the good old-fashioned milk crate nesting boxes. And let me show you. And as you can see, they are already laying in there. Now I have a couple chickens who are not happy about this whole change situation, but chickens don't like change. Chickens are very much creatures of habit, and so when you change things on them, it kind of freaks them out for a little bit until they figure out the new routine. And so while I do have some chickens who laid in here, I have one Silky laying in the old nesting box, which is just sitting outside. And yeah, so she's going to be my stubborn one. But I think this will be a much better setup. It still gives me all of the space that I needed to come in here, which was why I built this coop to begin with. And then additionally, it's going to be easier for the chickens as well. So we have had a shift in the weather. It went from beautiful and sunny to cold and stormy and just yucky outside. And so today I think I'm going to do a little bit of baking. I'm going to make some chocolate chip espresso cookies. And this is a recipe that is made out of some alternative flours, so they're gluten-free. And they are sweetened with a little bit of coconut sugar, and so they're not really sweet. And then the chocolate chips that I'm going to use are these Lily's brand. These are dark chocolate chips, and they are actually not sweetened with sugar either. They're sweetened with stevia. So that's what I'm gonna do today, because I don't know, when it's cold and yucky outside, I just feel like baking. Hey guys, so yesterday afternoon or evening I came out here and I sat on the porch and I chatted with all of you and I shared what had gone on yesterday, and it was lovely. It was clearing up after a rainy, stormy day. The crickets and the tree frogs were singing, and I sat down this morning to edit my video and I don't know what happened, but I somehow managed to delete the footage. So yesterday was a very productive day. I got a lot done, even if I couldn't do anything outside. And today too, I can't really do much out here because everything is soaking wet and we're in a giant swamp once again. But I am going to take the time to go through my irrigation system that I purchased and figure it out so that I can get it installed, because that needs to go in before I do my planting. And I was actually looking at my boxes and realized I had ordered the kit, and then as soon as I ordered it I realized there was one more thing that I needed, so I immediately did another order. That order never went through, so I had to reorder it. Hopefully it doesn't take forever to get here because it's a vital part. But in any case, you know, we just gotta roll with it. We're already kind of behind schedule and everything, and it is what it is. But the vast majority of the system is here, and there's a lot of pieces, a lot of parts, and so I need to figure out exactly how it all goes together so that I can get that installed out in the no-till garden so that it is ready for planting. And we're going to use this system in the no-till garden, and then eventually as we build up the raised bed garden out front, I plan on at some point putting in drip irrigation out here as well. So yesterday I did a lot of cooking, a lot of housework and tidying and all of that, and I baked those chocolate chip espresso cookies. They are light and fluffy cookies, very soft, and they're just very mildly sweet. They're not super sweet, but they give you a nice kick of coffee flavor with the instant espresso, and then of course you've got the chocolate chips in there, and so they're very tasty. That recipe is on my other blog, wholesomeskillet.com. It actually went up this morning. And then for supper, I did a little bit of an experiment and I made a roasted garlic and asparagus soup. And I kind of had to play around with it. Initially I was going to puree it in the pot with my immersion blender, and I realized quick and in a hurry that was not going to work. And so I ended up transferring that all into my blender and pureeing it that way. It is a smooth soup. Although after I made it, Mr. Smith was like, I thought there were going to be chunks in there. So in the future when I make it again, I will leave aside some of the asparagus and just dice that up so that there is chunks in the soup as well. And it was topped with some bacon pieces that I had browned, and it was good. It has a very strong flavor, strong roasted garlic, so you've got to like garlic because it uses quite a bit. Personally, I love garlic, and so I really enjoyed that soup. And that recipe will be on Wholesome Skillet as well, and it'll go up this weekend. Now, speaking of Mr. Smith, I did actually see a comment this morning, and I've had a few people comment on this before. Why do I call him Mr. Smith and not by his name? Well, to be honest, it feels very weird and very foreign to me to call him by his name, which, by the way, is Jeff, because I never call him that. The rare occasion that I call him Jeff is the instances where he's preoccupied with something and I'm trying to get his attention, because generally I call him Hun or Honey. I never call him Jeff. Except, like I said, if I'm trying to get his attention, and if I'm doing the hun, honey, hun, Jeff! That's what gets his attention. And that is the only time I say his name. You know, when we became parents and we started raising our kids, at that point we began actually calling each other mom or mommy and dad and daddy. And that's just what we did. We go, hey mama, or hey daddy, hey dad. And that's just how we address each other. And we never call each other by our names. And so, I don't know, it's just, I just call him Mr. Smith, because that's just, I don't know, it's just how I started addressing him on here, because if I called him honey, I don't know how he would feel about that. And like I said, it feels foreign to me to call him Jeffrey or Jeff. I mean, I suppose I could call him Jefferdane. Jefferdane! Because that is his name. Although, he has an uncle who always called him Bodine. So I suppose I could refer to him as Bodine. But in any case, thanks for hanging out with me here again with this meandering sort of vlog. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Again, my name is Constance from Cosmopolitan Cornbread, and I'll talk to y'all next time.